guys, the links to these stories and the credits will be in the description. If you do like the video, please give it a thumbs up, comment and subscribe if you haven't already. It really does help the channel out a ton and I appreciate it loads. But let's just get into tonight's stories. Okay, so the first story is by Ain't No Worries Oh, and it's titled, Am I the a-hole for leaving my in-laws' house with my daughter after she told me she was feeling uncomfortable? I, male 37, have been with my fiancée, female 37, for 2 years. We're getting married soon. I've only met her family a couple of times. My daughter, Judy, female 16, has never met them till very recently, where they hosted dinner to celebrate 4th of July, and that's when they met her for the first time. Judy has a visible burn scar on her forehead. It was due to an accident when she was 9. She used to be incredibly insecure about it, to the point where I was forced to homeschool her, and it was hard trying to deal with and navigate through this rough time. Now she's doing a lot better though. Some comments can really cause her to become stressed out and anxious. My fiancé knows all that and respects it. Before we went to her parents' house, I asked her to tell them about Judy and her struggle, and to try and get them to not say anything negative about it or possibly mention it. She said she would guarantee no one will say anything. We got to the event and they talked to Judy, and she slowly warmed up to them. Everything was going well until it was dinner time. My future mother-in-law looked at Judy while she was eating and pointed at her scar, basically asking questions about it, which made Judy lose her appetite and start to get uncomfortable. I kept sending my fiancé and her mum signs to knock it off, but to no avail. Finally, future mother-in-law then brought up the wedding and asked my fiancé if it would be possible to Photoshop the scar out of any wedding photos that will have Judy in them, just in case they distract the viewers. I was dumbfounded. Fiancé said nothing, just stared casually while nodding. I looked at Judy and it was clear this got to her. I leaned closer and asked if she was feeling uncomfortable and that we could leave if the answer was yes. She took her time, then nodded and said, yes, I'm feeling uncomfortable right now. I got up and told her to get ready because we were leaving. My fiancé, her mum and the family started insisting we finish dinner and stay, but I refused. I took Judy and got in the car and left before even talking to my fiancé. Obviously she was pissed. She called and was angry, talking about how I disrespected her parents by taking Judy and leaving in the middle of dinner and not even saying goodbye. I told her that Judy was feeling uncomfortable with future mother-in-law's comments and questions. She said Judy overreacted and is in need to go back to therapy if a simple mention of his scar caused her to react that way. I got tired of arguing and asked her to give us some time, but she went off on me and said that I have no respect for her and her family, and that what I did was irrational, and now she won't speak to me till I clear things up with her family after ruining their celebratory dinner. Oh my god, guys. What a way to start off this video. First of all, can I just say what a wonderful dad. Like, oh my god. That guy is dad of the year. Advocating for his daughter like that and putting her comfortability above all else, even his fiancée, really warms my heart, because I see far too much of parents' priorities So what a wonderful dad for that. The mother-in-law is, oh my god, I don't have the words but to like point out anybody's, insecurities or scars or anything like that in the first place is quite rude, because you don't know how they feel about that. Like, leave it alone, don't bring it up. If they want to talk to you about it, they will. But to do it after already being told, like, this is something she is anxious about and feels self-conscious about, please don't bring it up. And then to do so anyway, and to carry on when you're basically being given warnings, is crazy enough. But then to suggest that this scar is so unattractive that it should be photoshopped out of the pictures of her father's wedding. You want the daughter's scar, a part of her body that she cannot control, to be photoshopped out of her own father's wedding pictures. That is truly a vile suggestion and thing to say. That absolutely blew my mind. What an awful person. And for me personally, their fiance not backing Judy up and her partner up, and not telling the mother-in-law off. For me personally, that would be grounds to call off the wedding entirely and get her out of my life, because you clearly don't respect me or my child if you're gonna let your mother say all that. Like, if my mother said that about my partner's kid, if my partner had a kid before meeting me, I would jump down her throat and correct that behaviour immediately and leave with the family. Like, not the family, sorry, leave with me, my partner and the kid, and I'd, ask the kid if there's anywhere they want to go to cheer them up and stuff. So that is just crazy. And then further defending the family and, being angry at them for leaving, it just shows that she doesn't respect you guys. So yeah, I would leave her. I would really leave her. Okay, let's get to the next story. This one is by Count of Moldy Crisco, and it's titled, Am I the A-hole for reiterating my house rules to my in-laws? My husband and I take our shoes off in our house. Every time my mother-in-law has visited our house, she has found a way to walk through the house in her shoes. She is not just forgetting, she is making conscious decisions. I won't go into detail, but it's just not forgetfulness. The last time she was in our house 2 years ago was Thanksgiving. She purposefully walked through the living room in shoes. She hasn't been back to our house due to the pandemic, but even before COVID, I was adamant with my husband that I would have a serious discussion with her before she could come in again. The in-laws want to come for Thanksgiving this year. I sent them a message reiterating that they need to follow this house rule, or we will be meeting them in hotels and Airbnbs from now on. Here's an excerpt included, since tone is important. I have to remind everyone that we take our shoes off in the house, no exceptions. That means every single time you wear shoes outside, no shoes inside. I will have a chair by the door so you can sit to put your shoes on and take them off. 99% of our guests respect this rule, and I hope you can have a stress-free Thanksgiving, knowing that my guests respect the one house rule I ask them to follow. Hope I can have a stress-free, Last Thanksgiving we hosted, I felt I had to be constantly vigilant, and that is stressful and means that I don't enjoy that holiday with my in-law family. I hope to have a peaceful, stress-free holiday that we can continue to invite guests into our home. If not, we will need to meet people who wear shoes in our home at Airbnbs and hotels and not in our home. They told my husband they feel unwelcome now. Husband and brother-in-law say I was abrasive and aggressive. I was genuinely trying to assert my house rules without being mean. I do struggle with expressing myself, and I do want a respectful relationship with my mother-in-law. Am I the a-hole? Edit. It's not for a few hours or one day. They have to drive 2 days to visit us, so they stay with us over several days for Thanksgiving. She doesn't have medical issues that prohibits her from taking off her shoes. I have reminded her repeatedly over 13 years, but I can't watch her 24/7. She enjoys sneaking ways to walk into the house with her sneakers on, or outside in her socks and then wear socks inside. Second update. After I got off work, I called my in-laws. Mother-in-law picked up and she wanted to talk with my kid and not address the issue. But she handed the phone to father-in-law and he and I talked about it. He said she's just the kind of person who is sometimes going to do what you tell her, but sometimes she's going to forget. I said, I'm not hearing, sorry it won't happen again, so let's get a hotel or an Airbnb for Thanksgiving. He was excited for the Airbnb. We got an affordable cabin in the woods. We're all going to meet there. It's definitely more expensive, but I will have a much better time because I don't care if she wears shoes in the Airbnb. Not the a-hole, but your husband is an a-hole for not helping you reinforce that rule, because I'm sorry, but the message you sent, in my opinion at least, was not rude at all. It was politely to the point. I'm sorry, but hosting family for a big holiday like that is already stressful enough. So you really don't need the added stress of the mother-in-law doing what she wants on top of that. And father-in-law saying she forgets. It's not that she forgets, it's that she wants to antagonize and she just does what she wants. There is a big difference. I think when you're being hosted by people, especially when it's taken a lot of effort because it's Thanksgiving and you're there for a week, I think you should follow their rules. I think even if you're there for a few hours, follow their rules. It's not your house, or just leave. But I don't know, it's the case of it's one rule. She has set one rule and it's so easy to follow, but the mother-in-law won't. That would really annoy me. This next one is by Jax904 Dude, and it's titled, Am I the a-hole for not letting my in-laws continue to be late for everything? Married 16 years and my in-laws have never been on time for anything. Not just a couple of minutes late, usually 20 to 30 minutes or more, and they don't ever tell us they're going to be late. On Halloween, they were supposed to be here at 6:30 to go trick-or-treating. My kids are teens, so they already had plans but cancelled to spend time with them instead. At 7:15, we called and they said they were 5 minutes away. 22 minutes later, they arrived without any concerns. This inspired a new rule for me. I called it the 5-minute rule. Basically, if you tell me you're gonna be somewhere at a time and aren't, after 5 minutes, I will leave. If we are meeting to eat or something and you're late, we will order and eat without you. We will leave when we finish, even if they are just getting there. Tonight night they had plans to take my kids out for dinner. They said they'd be here at 7. We talked at 2, and I reminded them of the new rule. At 7:05 they weren't here and had not called or anything, so I called them. They said they were 10 minutes away. I told them not to bother with it, and they tried to ask me to give them another chance since they live an hour away. I said no way, and I stuck to it. I feel like they are disrespectful by doing this, and they aren't valuing my time. Am I the a-hole? Absolutely not. One of my pet peeves is people being late all the time. I think it probably stems from the fact that I am so time conscious because of my anxiety that I am always on time, but often I'm always like pretty early as well to make sure that I'm there on time. Like, I would rather sit in the rain for 30 minutes to make sure that I'm on time than get there even 5 minutes late. I hate being late. I feel so disrespectful and rude and mean, and I don't know. I hate being late. If I'm ever late, it's because something like really bad has happened, like a medical emergency or a really bad crash and I'm stuck in traffic or something like that. Like, I will always be on time. And if I am running late, as soon as I realise that I'm going to be late, on the rare occasion that I am, I immediately let the people know who I'm meeting up with. So no, not the a-hole at all. I mean, on the Halloween night they were over an hour late. I just would probably honestly cut ties with them, because that is just so infuriating, and they obviously don't value you or your children or your time, otherwise they would make sure to be on time. Like, late every now and then is, you know, an honest, like, mistake. Like, it happens. We're not perfect. Life isn't perfect. Perfect things will go wrong. But late every single time is your fault. That's a personal issue and you need to work on it. Also, I'm really sorry for, like, there's a weird noise outside. It sounds kind of like a faint horn going off. I really don't know what it is. I hope that it's not getting picked up too much. But once again, this is the only time I have to film this video, so I'm really sorry. I have to knuckle through it. I'm gonna turn the gain down a little bit. No, that's up. I'm gonna turn the gain down a little bit. And if you can hear it still, please just lower the volume on your phones or your headphones. I'm really sorry. I really hope it's not too distracting. I am genuinely so sorry. And my dog, like, faintly snoring. I'm really sorry about that as well. She's just a sleepy girl. There's not much I can do about that. If she gets really loud, I do wake her and let her settle again, and then she's quiet for a while, but I have to keep doing that. Because she just gets really loud after being asleep for a while. Okay, this next one is by 7811046 Gray. It's titled, Am I the a-hole for refusing to let my in-laws stay with us again? My husband, a 34 male, and I, a 31 female, recently threw a birthday party for our 3-year-old daughter. We also have 2 other little ones in the house, 2 female and 1 male. My husband's dad decided that he wanted to stay with us for the party. He brought his wife, sorry, I can't speak sometimes, my brother-in-law, and my sister-in-law. We were hosting almost 100 people in our house. I ordered most of the items we needed for hosting / serving purposes, and had the food catered. All we needed to do on the day off was move around our home to accommodate the tables, chairs, hosting equipment, and set everything out. My father-in-law decided to spend most of the day in his room and away from the setup. His wife was constantly walking around and complaining about being asked to stay quiet since the baby was napping. As I was running around and carrying large tables, moving furniture and decorating, watching children, etc., my husband's family was calling me mean names behind my back, while also being no help at all, not even hanging out with the kids that they were supposedly there to see. After the party, my family stuck around to help clean up. My husband's family also stuck around, apparently just to judge. My father-in-law, his wife, sister-in-law, and brother-in-law all stayed out of the way and napped while we cleaned up. My mother-in-law and her husband sat around and watched my family clean up. After my mother-in-law and her husband left, 3 hours after the party ended, they were apparently talking about how weird it was that my family was helping, and how gross it was that everything needed to be cleaned right away. They said that my kids are probably going to have problems as they grow up since I keep them in such a sterile environment. My house is in no way perfect, but after hosting that many people, there is definitely some cleaning to do before letting 3 under 3 run around the house again. Update 1 to answer some questions. Yes, my husband did help with some setup. He also helped with taking down all the rental items and getting them situated for pickup. He didn't get as much done as he could have, as he would stop and talk with his family and have to be directed back to the party setup and take down. But he wasn't just sitting with them. A neighbour saw me struggling with the setup. They came over to help. They overheard my father-in-law, brother-in-law, sister-in-law, and father-in-law's wife talking about me, which is how I found out. Afterwards, when my family was cleaning up, they overheard the comments as they were going around the house. Yes, 100 people is a lot. Between both sides of immediate families, that was about 30. Both sides divorced with new partners and some additional children with their own children. Then with extended family, we get together for almost all the holidays and regularly for visits. It was another almost 40. There were only about 25 people not related to us, 7 kids from daycare and their families. It seemed easier to do it all at once rather than have a family birthday with 70 and a friend birthday with 30 having to be responsible for 8 2 to 3-year-olds at a separate friend party. Yes, both sets of in-laws are like this all the time. They both live in different parts of the country, so when we go to visit we stay at hotels. They've offered to let us stay with them, and before we had kids we would, but their homes would be so dirty that it was hard to enjoy ourselves. Think unwashed sheets on the guest bed, plates and cups that are rinsed but not washed after use, expired food being served, etc. It's not a suitable environment for children to stay in. Still, when we visit for events, I am always the one helping with cleaning and cooking, etc. For the parties, they're hosting in their own homes. Part of this is to make sure I have clean things to eat off of and safe food to eat, but partially because I have been raised to be helpful. I wasn't necessarily surprised by their lack of help, but the rude comments caught me off guard. My husband and I have a date night coming up this weekend, and I plan to address this more then. I might not necessarily tell him that I brought it to the internet for debate, but there have been many helpful suggestions that I will use. You are definitely not the a-hole. I'm sorry, but like yourself, I was raised to always, be helpful, be kind, be respectful, especially if you are being hosted by somebody else. At the very least, offer to help, and if they say no, then, maybe they have a certain way of doing it, or they just want you to relax, whatever. But at least offer to help, or at the very least look after the kids while they're busy setting everything up and cleaning everything up and stuff like that. And I'm sorry, but like, why are they complaining about the OB being clean and wanting to clean up afterwards? Of course you're gonna clean up. There were 100 people there, it was a big event, and they have young children. They can't just leave it as is. They're gonna tidy up as soon as they can, and because they need to. It's also hard as a parent with such young kids to find time to do a huge clean up as well, so that's not like weird at all. I think that the husband is a bit of a dick though. I understand like stopping and talking to family and stuff, but you need to help a bit more, and also check your family on their like outrageous comments, like tell them off. Okay. This one is by History Wiz 63 and it's titled, Am I the A-hole for not caring about honouring my in-laws? Let me preface with that I fully understand that many people have different viewpoints of honouring their parents. So my husband and I apparently have different views about honouring our parents, and have been made out to be the a-hole by his family multiple times. His family is not respecting of boundaries I've put up, and he also put up, and so I've definitely been a bit more rigid about things. My husband already ruined what I wanted for our wedding by inviting his whole extended family, as his parents wanted him to. I wanted something more intimate. Letting his mother take unwanted formal wedding pictures, which made me uncomfortable. We'd hired a photographer, and just various other things. They push and push and push, and it's suffocating. Anyways, now I've become the a-hole again because I don't want to honour his parents by letting them see me and our firstborn child within the first 24 hours of me giving birth. I don't want my parents there either. I just want it to be the two of us. I already know myself and my body and my emotions, and with how overbearing his parents are, I know it's going to be hell for me. He claims that the birth isn't just about us, it's about our parents too, which I laughed in his face about. My parents don't believe their first grandchild is about them, and so I'm not sure where my husband and his parents get this notion. Am I the a-hole for sticking my ground and refusing that? I feel like I'm going insane. Absolutely not, and I'm sorry. I'm very, very sorry, but you need a new husband. That man sounds just as exhausting as his mum. A man who lets his mother rule his life like that is far too exhausting to be around, and your life will forever be controlled by his mother. You're basically dating his mother. Mama's boys in that respect are exhausting and toxic and just not worth it. I think it's crazy when people think that they're entitled to see babies when they're like, even when they're like a week old, a month old. Like, I'm sorry, but the mother has been through such a traumatic and painful and exhausting ordeal, you know, giving birth or having a C-section, whatever's gone down. Like, that's hard work, mentally and physically. It's hard, and emotionally it's a tough time, and especially with it being a firstborn, that's incredibly tough for the parents. And I personally wouldn't want anyone except my partner there either. I would just get far too stressed and overstimulated, and I wouldn't want people to visitors, and that's fine. That's completely fine, and if you're fine having people there a week later, that's fine. It's all down to you. And I know some people might disagree with this and might say, oh, but it's, it's the father's baby too. But I personally think that after the whole ordeal that the mothers went through, and the fact that it's the mother's body and mind potentially that needs to be healed, I think it should be entirely down to the mother to decide when they start getting visitors. So absolutely not the a-hole, and you need to flush your husband and find a man that will respect you. Let's see. Okay, this next one is by Time-Needleworker917, and it's titled, Am I the a-hole of asking my in-laws to respect my way of being the way that I respect theirs? I did not grow up in a shiny, happy vacation family that ate dinner together and sang on car rides or anything. I didn't have cousin sleepovers, Christmas traditions or whatever. And because of that, I am a lot more quiet, internal, etc. than my spouse's family. They are the polar opposite. The people stop by at their home unannounced and they're welcomed with open arms. There are so many kids running around all the time, laughing and playing, and the adults watching them warmly with love. They all share their secrets and stories, are very huggy and all that, and they've been super welcoming to me, but I've started to be very pushy when it comes to some things. For example, at dinner recently, one of the kids wanted to show us the song she learned. Everyone sang along together. I sat quietly and listened. Spouse's aunt kept elbowing me to join in. I smiled and clapped for her but did not sing. That same day, one of the younger kids was going around hugging everyone goodbye. I stooped down and gave her a high five and she toddled off. The mum told me that it was weird and to just hug the kid. Well, a bunch of the women my age were planning a girls-only camping trip and talking all about all the fun and girly things they want to do, all of the bonding experiences they wanted. I am not interested, so I declined politely, but did say they could use our camping supplies. The organizer got frustrated and roped in my mother-in-law. Both of them deemed up on me that they're trying on their end to get me to open up and be a part of the family more. I said that was nice of them, but that I have opened up a lot and they need to understand that it all goes two ways. I have given so much and they know a lot more than I ever wanted. I've done a lot of things with group events, one-on-ones, shopping, getting hair done, wedding stuff, etc. I would have preferred strongly to just not do any of it, but I knew it was a give and take thing and challenged myself to open up. I explained this and said I appreciate them and I know it's difficult for them, but reminded them that it's difficult for me as well, and I'm trying as hard as I can. My therapist and I work on this all the time. This really bothered my mother-in-law and she went to my husband to complain. He defended me and told her that I've done nothing wrong. He reiterated this to me as well and said that he thinks I have done a lot more than he expected me to, and that he's proud of me. But it didn't sit well with mother-in-law, who reached out to tell me that she was upset that after 8 years I still treat them like my own family. But to me, I do treat them like family. First of all, a brief note, it's so refreshing to hear the husband back up the wife. Oh my god. But yeah, the family, I get in their heads they're trying to help and get the person to open up and stuff, but they need to understand that people are very different, whether it's just due to personal whether it's just due to personal feelings, how they were raised, being introverted, extroverted, just their personality. People are wildly different, and that's what makes humans in general very interesting. We're all very different, and that's okay. The family definitely need to realise that just because to them it doesn't seem like much doesn't mean that the OB isn't trying. Like, what is such a big deal to her may only be tiny to them, but they need to understand that it's progress. And they also need to understand that you're not entitled to her time and to her comfortability and stuff like that. Like, if she doesn't feel comfortable hugging people and singing along, she doesn't have to do that, because I would also be like the OB. I am very awkward and introverted and not very outgoing and stuff like that, and so I would not be singing along. I'd clap and stuff and I'd smile, and but I wouldn't be singing along, and I'd hug the kid. But that's just me. Some people don't like being hugged or touched in general, and that's fine also. But I personally wouldn't want to go camping either, and that's fine. I think the OB is getting shunned for nothing, in my opinion. I understand where their thought process is coming from, but they need to kind of open their minds a bit more and realise that there's two very different perspectives here. This next one is by exact_income1photo27. It's titled, "Am I the a-hole for doing childproofing for my in-laws visit? I am a 26 female and my husband is 29 male. We have been married for 5 years and we went to Berlin right after marriage since we both found really well-paying jobs. Meanwhile, both of our families, parents, siblings, etc. still live back in Greece and we usually visit back occasionally. Now, me and my husband don't have any children and we don't plan to have any. We enjoy buying expensive things and experiencing things we never got to as children, such as nice furniture in our home, going to exotic restaurants with friends, travel, hobbies, and generally just our lives with each other exactly the way it is. But that's just how my husband thinks. His family is very traditional and every married couple has at least one kid. This time my husband invited my brother-in-law and sister-in-law to visit us with their 3-year-old son for 2 weeks. This would be the first time they've travelled with their son and the first time we would be hosting our nephew at our home. Now, our nephew is known to be going through the terrible twos and has been throwing tantrums and breaking things lately, so I did some childproofing in our home a day before the in-laws were due to arrive. I removed all the glass and ceramic decor. I swapped out our linen tablecloth for a plastic one. I locked up our intoxication devices. I also covered our sofas with a plushy fabric cover. Our sofa is a fabric and is a white cashmere, because nephew likes to snack while watching TV and we can always take it outside and dust off the crumbs. I also changed my maid's schedule to come in 5 days a week instead of 3, so she can help prep breakfast to make sure the house is tidy. Sorry, people are talking outside. However, when my husband saw all of my changes, he kind of got upset. He told me he felt that I was preparing our house as if we were hosting messy and uncivilized people, and asked me why I don't make these changes when our friends in Berlin who have kids come over for their dinner. He also said that he's never seen our friends make these sort of changes in their own home for their kids. However, I don't understand this comparison at all. Coming over for dinner for 3 hours and staying at a place for a couple of weeks is very different. visited our in-laws enough to see how chaotic their home can get, to the point where my brother-in-law and sister-in-law keep mostly plastic items in their homes for convenience. Am I the a-hole? Edit. We hadn't spoke since we had our fight last night, and my in-laws are supposed to be landing in the morning. My husband brought food from a restaurant I liked and told me he wanted to apologize. He told me he overreacted because he wasn't admitting to himself how different his brother is as a person ever since he became a dad, and that his life is going in a very different direction with more financial hardships too, and that makes him angry and helpless. He told me he misdirected his frustration at me and thought what I did was really nice, especially since he is more finicky about this than I am. I tried my best to make him feel not guilty and responsible for the lives and decisions of other grown-ups, but I'm so relieved he came around on his own. Edit 2. So guys, it's officially day 1 of the in-laws visit, and my husband has now gone an extra step and put away most of the lamps in the house because they are glass and super dangerous for a toddler to be around. We have about 35 because we hate ceiling lights. When we picked up our in-laws from the airport and were driving them back, nephew accidentally poured a bag of chips all over the back seat and floor mats. Everyone just laughed, and I know my husband was horrified inside, and now he's been vacuuming the back seat area for 2 hours. Oh, and the in-laws were super appreciative of our baby proofing. You are not the a-hole, you are actually a very kind person, and you clearly think ahead and stuff, which is brilliant. Because now you can all enjoy this visit without constantly worrying about the kid hurting himself, breaking things, staying in expensive furniture. Like you've made it so that this visit can be properly enjoyable by all. You know, the kid can be messy without getting shouted at every 2 seconds. The kid's parents don't have to feel bad that the child's ruining the couch with chocolate stains, and you and your husband don't have to worry about your things getting damaged. And now the parents don't have to worry about the kid running around and getting hurt, because they know you've properly baby-proofed your place, which is very, very nice of you to do. You went through a lot of effort to do that. I haven't heard of many people who have baby-proofed their houses just for the visitation of others, so that is very, very kind and forthcoming thing to do. I'm happy that your husband apologised, and that you didn't need to kind of dig the apology out of him, and I'm glad he is now seeing that it came from a place of love and concern and stuff like that, not because you think badly of them, you just wanted it to be pleasant for all. So yeah, not the ale. Let's read this one. This is by Entertainer III 9058. It's titled, Am I the a-hole for buying my own dinner because I don't like what the in-laws ordered? I like to preface by saying that I am not a picky person. I don't just turn down food. I'm always willing to try new things, even if they're weird or unconventional. One of my favourite things to do always pick out something I've never tried in the grocery store. But my in-laws are hooked on this one take and bake pizza joint that I just cannot stand. I've tried to like it, I've ordered so many different things off their menu. I just don't like it. They order it for every single family event, every get-together, every holiday, every birthday. I started ordering my own meals to bring to the parties. They got upset when they realized what I was doing. I explained that I like ordering my own food because it's a chance to get a treat for myself that I don't normally order. Still, they're always trying to convince my partner to get me to change my mind and just eat the same pizza as everyone else. This Halloween, we'd all planned to get together for a Halloween party. My partner and I had actually planned out a fun homemade meal, pasta bar, for everyone. But mother-in-law became very upset that we weren't getting pizza. She put her foot down so hard that we thought there'd be an actual honest-to-God fight about it. So we told her she could order the take and bake she wanted. And of course I was going to run to the store and get my own favourite pizza. She became so angry. She insisted that I eat what she ordered, what everyone else was eating, and even offered to buy me anything that sounded good off the menu. I told her again that I don't like anything on the menu and that I'm perfectly willing to go and buy something that I do enjoy instead. She's still angry with me. Father-in-law is angry with me. They tried again and again to convince me, they always do, to get something off their take and bake menu. But I just don't like it. Am I the a-hole for buying my own takeout instead of what's being served at the party? Edit because there are questions. My partner is always supportive of me and would never try to make me eat something I didn't like. He does stand up for me and tells them, just like I do, that I just don't like that place. He's a lot more confident about standing up than I am, to be honest. But even when he gets them to back down, the issue is brought back up the very next time we eat together. And yes, we were planning on hosting and cooking everything. We'd actually bought all of the ingredients already, but when she got upset, it's the whole thing that could last for days and ruin the whole party. So it's really a pick your battles type of thing. Have everyone together on Halloween, or have a silly fight over pasta versus pizza and miss Halloween all together trying to do damage control. It's a mess. You are definitely not the a-hole. That mother-in-law sounds like such a terrible control freak. Oh my god. I don't get why anyone at all would ever be bothered by what someone else is eating, like especially when they're not the ones having to pay for it or sort it out. Like, I don't care, eat what you want. Like, if that was me, for a start, I wouldn't order the same thing exact every time. Like, people must be bored of it, but don't want to say anything to her. But like, if I was gonna order from somewhere and someone didn't like it, I'd either choose a new place, or I myself would be like, okay, we're gonna get from this place. You pick the food you want and from where, and I will pay for it. Like, it's not an issue. I personally grew up as a very, very picky eater. I still am. I'm a lot better now than I used to be. But when I was a kid, there were only a few things that I would eat. To the point where my mum took me to the doctors because she was really concerned that there was something wrong with me, because there was only 3 things that I would eat as a kid. There was nothing wrong with me, and the doctor just said I'm super fuzzy. But my whole life has been awkward, and like, I've been made to feel terrible for not liking certain things, even though I've been like, oh, it's okay, I can have this instead, or don't worry, I'll eat when I get home. Like, I've always like tried to give options, like, oh, I'll eat the like spaghetti noodles by themselves, like, just don't put once. It doesn't make any sense. He was just a control freak. So I've dealt with people being really angry at me over my food choices my whole life and making me feel terrible about being picky and stuff. And so I know how bad the OP must feel, especially because they're not even a picky eater. That person's just a bad control freak. Okay. This next one is by Tampon Saver, and it's titled, "Am I the a-hole for telling my brother-in-law to stop picking on my kids, or he's not coming on vacation? I have 3 kids, Rob, 16, male, Lisa, 14, female, and Anne, 9, female. Lisa is autistic and her special interest is Taylor Swift. Rob and Anne go along with it and indulge her. They're good kids who care and support each other, and Rob and Anne get attention and support for their interests too. My brother-in-law, Hector's entire personality is trying to rile people up. You know the whole, it's just a joke bro, super childish, but whatever, he's family. Except my husband is out of the country, so I guess he thinks he gets to do whatever he wants. A few weeks ago he started needling at Lisa by making fun of Taylor Swift, using lots of childish names, calling words, intentionally using the wrong word for fans and stuff. Just really immature kid stuff. Lisa knows that not everyone likes Taylor Swift and some people even hate her. One of her best friends hates her. She's not unable to hear different opinions. She has her own. I'm sure she'd love to share with you all if you had 4 hours to spare. He would say, well, Swiffers did X, Y, Z. She would say, Uncle Hector, it's Swifties. And he would say it again to needle at her. Rob was in the room, I was not. Rob said to him, why do you keep using the wrong word? She told you the correct one. Hector said he can say whatever he wants and to cry about it. Rob just said, it just seems like you're going out of your way to try and upset Lisa. Rob asked her to finish what she was talking about and to ignore Hector. This is when I came into the room and Hector waved at the kids and said, Roberta's getting real mad that someone's joking about mother. I wasn't in the room, so I didn't hear the comment about me, and Rob said I wouldn't get it. Before I could say anything, Rob said, bro, did you really just call me a girl's name? Are you 12? I put my hands up and said, okay, enough, Hector, stop. He said I'm raising soft kids who can't take a joke. I said he's being so effing rude and that he wouldn't be acting like this if my husband was home. I said that if he still wants to go with us to Colorado in the summer, like we were planning, he has to stop now or he's not coming. This set him off and he said I had no right to do that. Yes, I do. And that I'm being a controlling yak over Taylor Swift. I said no, F Taylor Swift. This is about you being mean to your niece because her dad isn't home. He said fuck you and good luck next time we have a problem. And good luck next time we have a problem, we're on our own. He took his Costco chicken and left, and I swear he must have immediately gone running to my mother-in-law, because she called me to ask what really happened and sighed a lot. I asked her if I was overreacting, and she just said she hopes we can work it out because that trip was all he had to look forward to, since he was laid off from work. I hate causing drama in the family, so am I the a-hole and am I out of line? No, you're not the a-hole. Oh my god, there's nothing more that I hate than like a man child. Like I can envision it right now, right? Not like body shaming or anything. I would never, but like this is what I envision Hector to be. Like I'd say mid-40s, early 40s, balding, but not accepted, yeah. Dirty, doesn't wash, slightly overweight, only drinks beer. Last time he drank water was probably 15 years ago. Crumbs in his beard. Bullies kids, which we've seen firsthand from the story, but I bet he like walks around parks and bullies kids. And the type of person who would sell his dog to the meat market to get a bag of weed. Like, he just seems like what he is the school bully who peaked in school and so never left that age mentally, and now he's just like a loser who walks around his hometown thinking he's still like hot shit, and he just can't see how pathetic he really is. That's exactly what I picture Hector to be. Like, how can you, at your big age, be a grown man picking on kids? Like, you got laid off from work, and instead of trying to find a new job, you're sat bullying an autistic 14-year-old girl and spending your entire time just trying to cause her to have a meltdown, essentially. Like, oh my god, crawl in a ditch, man, go away. Oh my god, he is the worst type of person, and I would have absolutely blew up on him, to be honest. I hate people like that. Definitely a pet peeve of mine. Right, this is gonna be the last one for tonight, guys. It's by reasonable_1_6685, and it's titled, "Am I the a-hole for not letting my mother-in-law stay the night at our house right after I gave birth?" I, 28 female, and my husband, 27 male, are expecting a baby soon. My parents live close by, while his mum is a few states away. I have a good relationship with his mum, but we aren't very close. It's mostly polite conversations when she visits. I'm happy for her to visit as soon as the baby is born, since it's hard to predict the exact date. We plan to call her and my sister, who also lives out of state, when I go into labour. They know they're welcome to book a flight right away or wait until after the birth. Whatever works for them. I recently told my husband I didn't want anyone staying overnight at our house for the first few days after the birth. He seemed surprised but supported me, and we agreed to let everyone know. I told my mum first, explaining family is welcome to visit all day and into the evening, but I wanted the first few nights to bond as a family and adjust without overnight guests. This is our first and likely only baby, and I want to treasure those moments. I also explained that while I appreciate people wanting to help, having guests, even well-meaning ones, can be overwhelming. I have a lot of social anxiety and a low social battery, and expect to feel exhausted and vulnerable after birth. Not to mention both our mothers have no problem telling us what we are doing wrong and how we should be doing things. My mum to me and his mum to him. I suspect it might be hard having people over all day when I am that tired and emotionally vulnerable right after giving birth. But I understand grandparents wanting to be around the baby right away, and having some time to ourselves at night felt like a good compromise. My mum understood and offered for my mother-in-law to stay at her house, which has a comfortable guest room. We also offered to pay for a nice waterside hotel, giving her 2 options. When my husband explained this to his mum, she became upset and said if she couldn't stay with us, she wouldn't come at all. This response threw me off. We've always hosted her before, even though having guests makes me anxious. I've never said no because she's family and I feel like I should get over my anxiety, but I feel the first few days after birth are different. My husband is supportive and says it's my decision, but I know he wants her to come. I want that too, for her to meet her grandchild and for my husband's sake. But her reaction has left me feeling anxious and panicked about labour all of a sudden. I'm torn. If I give in, I worry I'll feel overwhelmed and resentful, affecting the experience and the weeks left leading up to it. If I don't, I'm afraid it will hurt my relationship with her and disappoint my husband, even though it's her choice not to come. Does anyone have advice? Are the first few days after birth a good enough reason to stick around? To stick to what makes me comfortable, even if it upsets her? I'm trying to find a solution that works for everyone, but I'm struggling. Sorry guys, someone's making a lot of noise outside with like a hoover or something. I have turned the gain all the way down. And I'm ending the video in a second, so I'm just gonna try and power through. Not the a-hole. Again, I mentioned how entitled it is that grandparents feel like they have the right to come and intrude and see the baby right away, but also like I think it's insane because the noise is throwing me off. My thought process has like been derailed. But I know it's gonna go on for hours because I know exactly what it is. It's the neighbor. So I'm gonna try and finish. Sorry. Yeah, like, I'm sorry, but it's nice enough for her to even let them visit, especially all day long. Like, I wouldn't want that for a long time. So, like, not wanting people to stay the night is not a, like, ridiculous ask. Especially when, like, her mom has offered to house the mother-in-law. I also think it's crazy that, like, they offered to pay for a nice hotel and she, like, scoffed at that. Like, why should they even have to pay for a hotel anyway? She's a grown woman. If she wants to visit, she can pay for it. So yeah, not the a-hole. Savor those times with your baby and your husband and don't let it ruin them. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video.